I'm not gonna make it through.
Come on, come on, come on.
I'm trying.
We can do it. You got it. Do you want me to crack your joke?
What you have?
Will that help?
My name is Sherilyn.
And I'm Dave. We're usually a happy-go-lucky, positive couple that are best friends, that do everything together, that have an outward appearance of happiness and having our lives together. The part that people don't necessarily see about our relationship and our happy marriage is the sadness that comes from our infertility struggles.
2 years ago, we got news that would change our lives forever.
So we met with our fertility doctor, and he informed us that we actually both suffer from infertility problems. Sherilyn has PCOS, and I suffer from a more severe version of infertility, which basically makes it so that it would be a miracle if we ever did get pregnant.
That's why I call it a miracle baby, because they told us that it would only be a miracle if we were to conceive naturally.
So I think back to that day that we received that news that we have fertility problems, and I remember first meeting Sherilyn, and the first thing she talked about was having children one day, and getting married and raising a family. And now when I think about our fertility problems, I realize that in a large part, it's my issue, the reason that we don't have children. And that day that we got that news, it was just crushing to her, and it was crushing to me too, because I knew that I was the one that had to suffer that. But that hit me hard, because it was my problem, it was my issue that I had that was keeping my wife from being a mother and from raising a child. And I'm almost glad that I have to be the one to deal with that, because I know that if it were her issue, she wouldn't be able to handle that. But fortunately, there's ways that we still can have a baby.
And actually, we were able to do a cycle of IVF. And on paper, it was the most flawless cycle you have ever seen. Everything was so perfect, so seamless. It was too good to be true, really. So we went through IVF, and I took a test at home before I went back to the doctor, and it said pregnant. And that day was amazing. I couldn't believe that I had finally seen 2 lines on a test. And I was so excited that this had finally worked, and that our miracle baby was finally going to be able to be here. But unfortunately, that pregnancy didn't stick. I was not far along at all. I took a test at home, and by that weekend when we went for our blood test, it was negative. So seeing the positive pregnancy test was amazing, but having it ripped right out from under me once again, well, not once again, I had never had a positive pregnancy test in my entire life. So seeing that and then knowing that it wasn't going to happen was just another heartbreak for us. I think the worst part about the whole IVF cycle for me was that the cycle was flawless, like I said, and the doctor, the only thing he could tell us when it didn't work was that we had a 70% chance of it being successful, but that someone had to be the 30%. And that broke my heart, because that's not exactly what you want to hear, that it was so perfect and should have worked, but it didn't. So not only was it heartbreaking that the IVF cycle wasn't successful, but it was also heartbreaking having to comprehend financially paying for another cycle of IVF.
Which is why we're so excited for this opportunity to be able to go through IVF again and hopefully be that 70% this time instead of the 30%. We have gone through the process before, and we know how heart-wrenching the sorrow is when it doesn't work. But the happiness that will be able to come into someone's life from the work that you're doing and the opportunity that you're giving someone is life-changing.
So thank you so much.
So now that we've gotten all of our tears and sorrows out, we're going to try and switch back to our happy and positive selves. And we are hopefully looking forward to, in the future, being able to have a child bless our lives so that we don't have to live this kind of dual life that we're living right now. We'll be able to experience what it really is like to have children.